Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Life Dharma. Today we prepared a very special program for you. It is called Self-Transformation Day and Naming Ceremony. So what is Self-Transformation Day? We'll find that out soon, so stay tuned. But first, Reverend Hong will guide us Kigong exercise.
Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Relax your entire body. Slightly bend your knees. Now, slowly start to shake your body. Breathe in and out naturally. Keep your hands loose. Relax your wrist. Relax your shoulders. With each shake, let go of all tension in your body. Bounce by slightly bending your knees. Relax the muscle in your face. Continue to relax and release. Now slightly lean to the left side and shake. Relax your neck. Now the opposite side. Lean your body to the right. Relax your neck and shoulders. Lean forward, head looking down. Drop your shoulder blades. Lean back gently. Back to the center. Turn your body side to side. Back to the center. Continue to release and relax the body. By vibrating the whole body, you release tension in the muscle and nerve. Stagnated chi will be released, and your internal organs will gently relax. And slowly come to a stop. Sweep arm to the side. calm your mind and chi energy to the dantian for standing meditation.
Breathe in and breathe out. Together, breathe in and breathe out. One more time, breathe in, breathe out. Resting our hands on our knees. Let us deeply breathe in and grab any tension, any discomfort of our body. Hold and breathe out, release. Let us breathe in deeply and grab any worries, concerns. Then release. Let us breathe in deeply and gently, firmly hold any idea
any belief, any value you've been cultivating, hold them tight, breathe out, release. Let us breathe in softly and relax our heart. Let us breathe in and gently, firmly hold any idea, experience in the past, any events, favorable, unfavorable, sweet or bitter, hold them tight and release. Let us breathe in, invite to our in-breath about our future, any thoughts, planning, and concerns, worries, fear. Then whenever you're ready, breathe out, let them go. Let us breathe in and be aware of any holding and any idea about our self-image, physical image, mental image, and image about my personality. Hold them tight, firmly, and then let it go. Exhale. Finally, let us breathe in wholeheartedly and deeply look at the idea that I'm creating, who I am, about self, about I, me. And then let us together practice. Let myself be free. Exhale. Be free. Throughout next 10-minute meditation, let us meditate by letting go of ourself, all the idea, career, and everything that we try to create about who I am, who I want to be, and our life achievements, all those ideas in our mind. Let us release that idea. Let us be free from self for 10 minutes together. Self-transformation, self-liberation meditation. Yeongju prayer chant. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. When I contemplate the meaning of Yeongju, I relate it to a Dharma passage that Sotaesan, our founding teacher, addressed to the 9 disciples. He said, "If your mind is concentrated and completely devoid of selfishness, if your mind is concentrated and completely devoid of selfishness, your mind and heart become as one with the great virtue of heaven and earth." Each of your minds possesses an element that can move the will of heaven and earth. And always remember that each of you has a responsibility to deliver all sentient beings away from suffering. Let us chant Yeongju 7 times together and feel the connection and oneness with the great will and energy of heaven and earth. 영주 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심도 천지오와 동일체하여 천지동심정 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심도 천지오와 동일체하여 천지동심정 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심도 천지여와 동일체하여 천지동심정 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심도 천지여와 동일체하여 천지동심정 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심통 천지여와 동일체하여 천지동심정 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심통 천지여와 동일체하여 천지동심정 천지연기야 심정만사여야 심통 천지여와 동일체하여 천지동심정. O Dharmakaya Buddha Fourfold Grace, August 21st is the annual observance of a historical moment in Won Buddhism. Today, we celebrate the 101st anniversary of self-transformation and the conviction of Sotaesan's 9 disciples. With our palms together, with our hearts together, we gather to recognize the founding spirit of Won Buddhism, a willingness to dedicate ourselves fully, without any hesitation, to the Dharma and to all sentient beings. Today, our community celebrates Lars Shunborn, Salma Guaida, Kelly Dano, Paulie bears receiving their Dharma names. With their sincere hearts, they are committed to entering the beginning stage of Dharma. Receiving a Dharma name signifies one's spiritual rebirth. May Lars, Salma, Kelly, and Paulie be blessed, and guided to embody the meaning of their names through their practice. Grace of heaven and earth, grace of parents, grace of fellow beings, grace of laws. We human beings hurt each other because of our greed, anger, and delusion. May we deeply look into our conditioned minds and conducts. May we practice the Dharma with unattached, focused minds. May we understand we have the infinite loving compassion to be kind and harmonious regardless of our differences. May our egoistic self be transformed into utterly impartial no self. May our flowers of selfless service blossom. This we pray with one mind and one heart. 이론 성바 이론 is the realm of samadhi beyond words and space, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, and lost the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened masters, unenlightened people, and sentient beings. Till one manifests as both permanence and impermanence, fused as permanence, one unfolds into an infinite world that is ever abiding, spontaneous, just as it is viewed as impermanence. One unfolds into infinite world through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, and death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies. In the four forms of birth, we transform through the six realms of existence, progressing or regressing with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore, we unawakened beings are to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after one Sangha Dharma Kaya Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies deeply, knowing human affairs, universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, and receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain the great empowerment of will one and become one with the nature of will one. What do we mean by Self-Transformation Day? In In 1916, our founding teacher, Sotae-san, was enlightened. After his great enlightenment, the first thing he did was a land reclamation project. Sotae-san and his followers built a dike to create a farmland out of a marsh. It took them over 2 years. In 1918, a worldwide flu pandemic was rampant, but this did not stop the project, and 43 acres of fertile land were created to provide income and livelihood for the local village and the young Won Buddhist community. Laboring together instilled in his disciples a spirit of selfless service. When our temple friends labored together to establish our temples here in North Carolina, the spirit of togetherness and the spirit of selfless service create an amazing bond as a community. After the project was completed, Sotae-san's 9 most devoted students meditated and prayed, each at a different mountain for 100 days. Towards the end of this prayer series, Sotae-san asked whether they would be willing to let go of everything for the deliverance of all suffering beings. The disciples did not hesitate to say they would do everything in their power to fulfill this vow. To show their resolve, on August 21st in 1919, each disciple pressed his thumb on a sheet of white paper. Even though they used no ink, their red thumbprints emerged. Sotae-san proclaimed this as proof of the disciples' sincerity, devotion, and faith. This event is known as the miracle of the blood seal on white paper, which we call the Day of Self-Transformation. On this day, the 9 disciples received their Dharma names, actually the very first Dharma names in Won Buddhism history, as a sign of spiritual transformation and rebirth. Since then, we have observed and celebrated this day in honor of the founding spirit of Won Buddhism, the auspicious day of letting go of self. When I first encountered this story about the emergence of blood-red fingerprints on a piece of paper, I was not sure whether I had to literally believe in the event. Now, my focus has shifted to the state of mind of the disciples, their wholehearted trust and belief in Sotae-san's vision for delivering all sentient beings. If you can find a teacher or guide you can totally trust, you are lucky. If you can completely adopt your teacher's vision, you are blessed. You are blessed. The 9 disciples felt thrilled when they were asked, "Would you be with me to liberate us all?"
Are you willing to give up all your secular desires to realize the vision with me? Their hearts were full and united with their teacher's mind and heart. To be willing to die for the sake of truth and for the sake of all sentient beings continues to be the fundamental spirit of one Buddhism. Dear friends, I am honored to observe this day with you in this year of another pandemic, 2020. Deep congratulations to our 4 temple practitioners who are receiving Dharma names on this day of transformation. Lars, 원천, Alma, 원사랑, Kelly, 원이서, and Paulie, 원파랑. 축하합니다.
Dharmakaya Buddha Fourfold Grace. We, Paulie, Kelly, Alma, and Lars, are willing to devote ourselves to cultivating a new mind, body, and spirit. Please watch over and bless our Dharma path as we follow the threefold practice and a life of gratitude. I understand that my new Dharma name signifies my rebirth as a sincere Won Buddhist practitioner. Now I wholeheartedly receive the first 10 precepts. May I honor these precepts sincerely, following them with a beginner's mind until they have been mastered.
Dear Dharma name receivers, please join your palms together and receive these 10 precepts into your heart. Do not kill without due cause. Do not steal. Do not commit sexual misconduct. Do not consume intoxicants without due cause. Do not gamble or play idle games. Do not use harsh speech. Do not fight without due cause. Do not embezzle public funds. Do not borrow or lend money between close friends without due cause. Do not smoke tobacco without due cause.
Good morning. My name is Paulie, and my Dharma name is Wonparang. I am deeply grateful to be present with you in person and in our new virtual world. 5 months ago, when we had our Dharma name introduction with Reverends Ginger and Wangang, I had no idea of what these words of gratitude would mean today. Since the age of 11, I'd been without any faith in a religious concept of God. By then, I was certain that my damaged state was beyond salvation, no matter how many Hail Marys I recited. Nothing I'd learned explained why bad things happened to innocent people. Things I'd witnessed: illness, poverty, and prejudice. Wars and natural disasters were even harder to comprehend. In other words, I didn't understand the purpose of suffering. Instead, I sought meaning through the pursuit of knowledge, pleasure in art, and sensory indulgences, a sense of purpose and accomplishments, with an emphasis on helping others, though not necessarily with success. Most of what I did was driven by fear of what I did not know and could not control. Fast forward 4.5 decades, bad things were still happening to good people, people I loved, things they hadn't deserved: dementia, prolonged mental and physical illnesses, addiction, suicide. I questioned whether there was any point in trying to understand anything. I wandered aimlessly without purpose for 2 years. In despair, I became open-minded and entered this temple almost 7 years ago. What I'd like to share in the last minute are some prose snapshots of my experiences. Reverend Wangang singing words of welcome to a crocus blossom, peeking through a blanket of frost-covered leaves. Teachers, mentors, light and guidance in words and silence, reverence. The preciousness of one breath, a smile, a nod, a sip of tea, a bite of wontempleNC, karmic love, nutty cake. Acceptance, compassion, love, and equanimity, an ever-growing family with people from many countries and backgrounds, true and trusted partners, together in safety and peace. A sanctuary of beauty inside and out, care, appreciation, a live YouTube chorus of tohis, warblers, and peacock arias. Reverend Ginger's practicality, honesty, and humor, as expressed in her memorable Dharma talk about her wrinkles and the ever-present impermanence of all things, that every moment is an opportunity to be mindful, whether chanting or sitting, chewing or weeding, vacuuming or disinfecting. That to be here now is to be wholly present, filled with the breath of life, not the grief and regrets from the past, nor fear of the future. To be able to be here now is freedom, to be one and whole with you today. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kelly Dino, and my Dharma name is wontempleNC, which means unfolding the auspiciousness benefit of ill woman. My journey to find my spiritual self began 14 to 15 years ago when I first dipped my toes into the Buddhist waters. My desire arose when I became a mother and I realized that I wanted to provide a spiritual framework for my daughters. I felt that spirituality would provide an inner strength, a connection to others, and a clarity of thoughts. My heart told me that I would be negligent if I didn't try to provide these things for my children. After spending many hours researching different religions, I found among the texts that Buddhism resonated with me like none of the others had. I felt a deep connection with Buddhist ideas. The idea that one's spiritual journey was uniquely one's own, and it was to be self-led. The idea that questioning was encouraged. Karmic practice of cause and effect, and the idea that everyone already was a living Buddha. We just needed to unfold this belief in ourselves. Buddhism provided the path, and I was ready for the journey. For years, I stayed near the shore in the shallow waters, reading Buddhist books, meditating, practicing yoga, trying to live by the Buddhist precepts and be a good example for my daughters. I made some progress. I learned to float more when difficulties arose, but I didn't progress much. I fell back into my habitual tendencies, and many of my spiritual questions went unanswered. A significant point on my spiritual path was the deaths of my mother and my mother-in-law, which occurred about 2 years apart from one another. When my mother-in-law passed, she was at peace at the end. A lifetime commitment to her spirituality had put her mind at ease. My mother had no spiritual practice, and the end of her life was filled with regrets and fear. I observed that developing one's spiritual practice can lead one to a sense of peace and calm in this life and the next. So after these realizations, I swam out a little farther and took the Intro to Won Buddhism class at the temple. When Reverend Wong explained during the class that there are 2 gateways to obtain spiritual power, the gateway of practice and the gateway of faith, I felt like a lifeline had been thrown to me. Here was a path of practice and a community that could help me along my spiritual journey. I left the intro class with a new mantra, all is grace, and a determination to move to deeper waters of knowledge and understanding. Since coming to the temple regularly, my practice has grown exponentially. Listening to weekly Dharma talks and lively discussions with my Dharma buddies on Thursday evenings, taking Zoom classes provided by the temple, has answered so many of my spiritual questions and created just as many. I've gone from doggy paddling to swimming laps. Being given a Dharma name is like being invited onto a lifeboat. I don't have to swim alone anymore, and if I get in over my head, my teachers, my Sangha, my friends can pull me to safety. And it represents a commitment to keep swimming, to reach the other shore. Hopefully, I can develop self-power to navigate the waves as I move along the path of awakening. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lars. My Dharma name is Won Chon, which means Fountain of Truth in Il-Won. Why do I like Won Buddhism? About 2 years ago, I arrived at my low point in life. My 17 years of marriage was in shambles. I've betrayed and cheated my partner many times before, but my progressed alcoholism with various of other addictions along the way was the final nail in the coffin. I've alienated myself from just about all my family members and friends. Arriving at this crossroad in my life, alone, confused, I only had a few options left. A, live away from society that seemed toxic to me or me toxic to it by becoming a hermit somewhere in the mountains or in the forests. B, die. Or C, start over and actually do change my ways. Put some real actions of changes into my life rather than just talking about it like I usually did when I screwed up. I actually did think in that order. But something happened. Something magical, and everything happened within a week. Those were 3 things. 1, I went to my first AA meeting, and for the first time in my life, I shut up and listened. 2, I sought professional help because I was losing my mind and imagined becoming crazy and insane. 3, somehow finding this temple and closing my spiritual hole. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon at the end of June when I was driving aimlessly around, no idea where I was at, and no idea how I ended up here so far away from Fayetteville. I remember seeing a sign saying, "Meditation Temple, all are welcome." I turned around and immediately felt this is a special and magical place as I parked by the Dharma Hall and walked towards the meditation garden. I was so at peace with myself that I sat down and wept. I'm not sure how long I sat there and how much time had passed, but eventually I met our Cumanums later that afternoon. A friendly Wongong welcomed me and invited me to attend the Sunday service the next day and mentioned, "We are always looking for garden volunteers," smiling from ear to ear. So I came back the next day, and I have been back just about every weekend thereafter since, listening to the Dharma messages, sitting in silent meditation, and cutting the grass, which is called gardening meditation, as I found out later. Learning about Ilwon-san, what a perfect, simple, yet powerful image. The fourfold grace and the threefold path. Getting to know our Cumanums, our Sangha, and meeting the most special person in my life, my partner, Alma. All that has filled my empty voids and made my life whole again. Strange, as I write and read this, I realize how the number 3 seems to repeat itself and is playing such an important role in my life. I still love cutting the grass in our garden, and I help in other ways as needed. I've incorporated meditation throughout my entire life, and I still enjoy the peaceful energy wherever I sit with nature, here in our garden, or in a Dharma hall, or wherever else. And sometimes I still weep, as I do right now. Thank you.
Hola, my name is Alma. My Dharma name is Won-Saran, which means love or truth in Ilwon. I would like to share today some of my most memorable moments in this beautiful journey to Won Buddhist practice. I grew up in a multi-faith family. My dad was Lebanese, my mom Cuban, so that was, in a metaphoric way, how I live my spiritual life. One half here, one half there, but always looking for a whole. Along the way, and seeking for a spiritual path that would make sense to me, I learned about different philosophies and religions. To finally land on the agnostic side of the road and stay there for quite a while, because none of them were fully fulfilling my true and natural belief. How did I found Won Buddhist? The answer still amused me. One hectic day in the summer of 2018, trapped in my thoughts at the office, I found myself typing in the computer, "Place to meditate near me." Several sites pop up, but just one grabbed my attention. Won Buddhist Temple of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. I presume an excellent visual memory, so there was no place in a road that I have been driving on for almost 20 years touched my ego. The temple was there, open, waiting, welcoming, but I never turned to look around, or perhaps I wasn't ready to discover it until that day. Acknowledging my delusion about my own reality, curiosity set in as a second motive that made me drive here that evening with zero expectations and attend the Tuesday night meditation. The experience could not have been better. The minimalism of the building, the simple empty space, and the one golden circle in the middle of the wall, home of the whole universe, the beginning and end, the infinite principle, treasures, and transformation of life captured my mind. My heart was conquered later by Reverend Wongon, Reverend Ginger, Reverend April, Lars, and the entire temple community. In Won Buddhism, I found a belief, a credo, a philosophical and spiritual practice that makes sense to me and goes accordingly with my principle of life and my true nature. I found peace of mind and emptiness. I found true interconnection with the universe, with myself, and with all human beings. I also found a true love, and I previously no longer believed in.
Hello, my name is Patty Daniel. My Dharma name is Wan Un Hewa. A Dharma name is at its essence a symbol of dedication, which is what it has been for me. I came to this temple 13 years ago in a rather vague search for a spiritual path. I found Won Buddhism intriguing, but there were some things I liked and some things I didn't like. What I think was really going on is that I found some concepts and practices that were congruent with my previously held belief systems, those I liked, and some concepts and practices that were not congruent with my previously held beliefs, and those I didn't like. While clinging to my biases, I wondered if perhaps there was something else or some other practice community that would be more to my liking. I was hesitant to commit. At some point, however, I realized that it was time to quit picking and choosing according to my likes and dislikes and settle onto a chosen path. When I got my Dharma name, it finally became clear to me that Won Buddhism was what I had been searching for. My Dharma name came to represent my personal commitment to get serious about a spiritual direction. Besides, as it turns out, Won Buddhism is less about professing a set of beliefs than it is about questioning, cultivating belief, and mindfully choosing how to behave in concordance with those beliefs. One of the great benefits of a Dharma name is membership in the Kyowa Dan. Our regular monthly meetings have been a wonderful and irreplaceable source of support, inspiration, and guidance through the years. American culture at large tends to undervalue quiet reflection, contemplation, generosity, and selflessness, but the Kyowa Dan group supports me in all of these things and gives each of us an opportunity to share both our difficulties and problems as well as our successes in applying the Dharma to daily life. I have always felt grateful to regularly meet with people who are so dedicated, forthcoming, and non-judgmental. I am happy to welcome Paulie, Kelly, Alma, and Lars to the Kyowa Dan, and I hope that many others of you will consider this opportunity as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulie, Alma, Lars, Kelly, for your words shared from your hearts. We feel honored and blessed to walk on this path with you. Here is a song for you and for all of us. Aren't we already Dharma brothers and sisters? Aren't we already Dharma brothers and sisters who travel the path like water and clouds? Haven't we already met years ago at Yongsan Mountain Sangha? Do you feel this joy? As if we have met someone for whom we have been longing for a long time. When we sit beside each other without words, our deep Dharma bond goes back 3,000 years. 우리지 영산 회상 운영 수제 아니던가 오래 두고 그리던 이를 만남 듯한 무슨 일고 말없이 마주한 지 정이 3,000년을 더 듬네. May we be free. May we be transformed. May we be free. May we be transformed.